All right, shalom, everybody. Shalom, shalom. Want to start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor be to the Most High God. Um, Another Think About It Thursday. We don't take none of these opportunities for granted to be on here that we have. So, just want to give all praises to the Most High and Salakia for the background noise if you can hear it, man. Children in there having a field day right now, but through the Spirit, Most High willing, we gonna get through this. Tonight's topic, man. Think About It Thursday. Again, it says we are products of our environment. So what that basically mean is that um, we oftentimes, in the land of our captives, man, we oftentimes become exactly what's around us, right? Whether we try to run from it or not, some people it eventually catches up to them, and some people try to escape it. But I'm not meaning that in a sense of what we see in the media, how they portray our people, when you talk about the neighborhoods that we grew up in, the backgrounds that we come from, right? I'm eventually talking about even how we're raised. We become products of the environment of our households, right? So let me start off with reading some scriptures, all right? Because I want to let the Bible speak, not myself. Um, window, yeah. Share, right? So I want to share this screen, right? I'm gonna go to the classic, the one I always go to, right? Deuteronomy chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse number 7, right? So this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4, and we starting at verse number 7, right? Matter of fact, I always need to go to verse 5 for context. I'm sorry. Even though we always go over this precept, I feel like I have to read it. Um, I feel like I feel like I have to read it often because it always somehow lines up with what the message is being brought forth. So this is Deuteronomy 4 and 5, and it reads, it says, "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it." Right. Verse 6: "Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people." Verse 7, this is the point. "For what nation is there so great, who God has so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for?" Right? We know the Most High is nigh unto us, right? So what there was no greater nation on the face of the earth, right? But let's keep reading because I'm going to get to a point. Verse 8: "And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgment so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day?" Verse number 9: "Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons." Right? So we're supposed to teach our children these laws, statutes, and commandments. We're supposed to raise our children in righteousness, right? Shalom to the brother Nanal. But we're supposed to teach our children these things. But unfortunately, we're gonna get to some other precepts, right?
Shalom,
Unfortunately,
shalom.
we chose the wrong path, right? And so this is what happened to us, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And it says, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever." Right? So the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments and told us to hearken only unto ourselves, unless we forget the things that he's done for us, that he's taught us, the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And eventually we did end up following after the heathen, and now we forgot ourselves and we discontinued from our heritage. We were scattered, right? And these are all curses that was prophesied to take place upon us, right? Let me go to the book of Isaiah chapter 3 real quick. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse number, start at 12. Isaiah 3 and 12, right? This is all curses, right? And I'm reading these precepts for a reason, right? And it says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, They which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths, right? After following all these gods, we've been led astray. We've been lost sheep, like it says in Jeremiah 50 and 6. I'm gonna read something else out of Isaiah. You know, I'm gonna read something else out of Isaiah to prove what else happened to us from not following the Most High God, from not teaching the law, statutes, and commandments to our children. Now, it's very important to do so. It's very important why I'm saying that, right? Isaiah chapter 42. I'm gonna start at verse number 22. And it reads, it says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith, Restore." Verse 23, "Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?" Salaki. Salaki. But verse 24,
Barakatah.
the water, it says, "Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law," right? So let me read verse 25. "Therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle. It hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not. And it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart," right? We're under all these curses. These things that are being read is exactly what happened to us for not only taking heed to ourselves and teaching our children the law of the Most High. Just like it said in Deuteronomy 4 and 9, "Teach them thine sons and thine sons' sons," right? The same thing it'll say right here in Isaiah chapter 54 and verse number 13, really. Verse number 13. And it says, "And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children," right? Verse number 14, "In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee," right? So if we would have taught our children in the Lord, our children would have had great peace, right? Unfortunately, unfortunately, we're a nation who forgot how to love, right? We're a nation who forgot how to be peaceable with all men. And I'm saying all this for a reason. Like I said, we're going over something important. We're going over an old video, right? This is a video that surfaced in 2022, right? Of Blueface when he met Krishan Rock parents and her family, this, that, and the third. And we all know how the situation played out. But you know, it's not the fact that I'm just now seeing this, but I've seen it again today, and something in my mind said, man, I want to speak on this, right? So we pulling this up for a reason. And before we start this video, I want to say we do not own any rights to any media that is displayed on this YouTube channel, right? Fair use though. We give credit to whoever recorded it. We give credit to the production. We give credit to Facebook. We give credit to all the people who had a hand in putting this documentary together, right? We just want to use it to teach our people what not to do in certain situations. But fair use. Let me see. I don't even. Denal, let me know if you can hear this when I press play.
La'ah.
Okay, Con. So what I'm gonna have to do, stop sharing, present, share screen. I'm gonna have to go share tab. Oh, okay. Let me know if you can hear now.
Khan.
You hear the nursing out
Con.
there? That's what I do. Oh yeah? Wow, that's good. Glad to see you work. Sure. I'm good. How are you? Motherfucker. Yeah, nice to finally meet you. Fuck, bro. For so long.
Hey, also before we get into deep into this video, there is a lot of foul language. Salakia. All right. We know that you may have children watching this. We know that a lot of people do not like an unclean tongue. However, we just want to use this video for edification purposes. So please bear with us, bear through the language, bear through some of the things you're gonna see, bear through some of the things you may hear, right? But this is Blueface and Krishan Rock. Everybody know they got a baby on the way. They at this time they was in a relationship. I think they still in a relationship, but he's just now meeting her family for the first time. You got to think this is after everything that they went through when he Stuff was streaming, stuff was going out on social media when he was hitting on her. Stuff was going out on social media when they was just going through the ringer, right? He was doing disrespectful things to her, she was doing disrespectful things to him. So you gotta think this is her family first time meeting this man. They done seen everything that they done been through on social media. So it's gonna be a lot of tension and emotion involved in this interaction, only because it's the very first time. They know that Krishan Rock is their family member, and they feel as if like some of the things that they seen and heard they didn't like. So they're meeting this man for the first time, and everybody knows how it goes on from there, right?
We better than that.
Better than what?
Took you forever. And all that was
took her forever.
Being staying with her. Like Krishan is precious to us. That shit, listen, when that shit hit home, that shit hurt. And then that shit was fucked up.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Is she doing better?
I don't know. Is she covering it up? I mean, what? Y'all covering it?
You don't know. Are y'all here? Is it a bigger than what it was?
Don't come like that because
like what? You know what coming. I reached my hand out for you.
Better. I reached my hand out for you. Didn't appreciate all the mistreatment. She's a fucking princess. Listen, you had her in your fucking control. So I expect you to control her back.
You don't want to be treated like that.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Okay.
She loves you. She loves you. Okay. And she ain't under your control. So under your care. You hear me?
What she's saying to you? It's her fault. I'm a fault.
Nice to meet you, father.
You know what I mean?
What's your name? What's your name?
Shut up.
What's your boyfriend? Get that.
Now, instantly, right? So just going to stop for a brief second. Instantly, when we looking at this video, man, you can see already that the energy that Blueface came with is different from the energy that Krishan Rock family came with. Now, people think we just breaking this down as far as gossiping. No, this is real life situations. This happens more than just celebrities, right? We know he's a famous rapper, but this happens in more households than what you may think. I've seen this firsthand on many different occasions, right? When it comes to relationships and maybe somebody else's family does not approve of this other person. I've seen this firsthand. This happens in real life. So we're not using this to talk about the celebrities and break down that, oh my gosh, Blueface, no, we're not doing this no idolization. We're doing this for the edification of our people who may be dealing with situations where your family or somebody else's family may not like you because things that they've may have heard or things that they may have seen, right? We're going through a crash course on kind of how to deal with certain things, right? But instantly we can already see how, like again, Krishan Rock family, they're kind of being on 10 already. Blueface is kind of like, want to talk about it, want to take a chill pill about it, kind of want to be peaceable about it, right? But you can already see that they met him with fire. It's just like when we was coming out of the wilderness and we was trying to go to the land of Canaan, how we went to Edom and we asked them to let us pass through their land, and they met us with the sword, right? Even though we weren't the same people, even though we didn't see eye to eye, yet we come at them with peace and they met us with the sword. The same thing is going on in this situation. Hey, the brother right now, at the particular moment, he's coming at him with peace, right? But they're meeting him with the sword.
Listen, stay in your place. Don't go get stay in your place. Because I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. You know I wasn't. You know why I wouldn't come to that. You know why. You know why. I'm not here to blow up and nothing like that. I'm saying this. Don't do that.
Do what?
Don't touch my store like that ever.
So you teach your daughter to put her hands on men?
No.
So who taught her that?
No. She did that herself. She did herself.
Now, he made a good point. He said, do you teach your daughter to put her hands on men? Because we got to remember, the stuff that they was going through at this time, they was fighting each other. He knocked her tooth out, I think. I think he did that. They was in an abusive relationship, let's say the least, right? And we know that the scriptures go against, abusing relationships, right? So let's go to the Bible real quick. Dang, I think I was here, but I'll go back. Let's go to the Bible real quick. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, and let me start at verse number 7, right? And it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, right? And this is talking about dwell with the wives according to knowledge, right? Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as unto being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered, right? Hey, we got to deal with our women according to knowledge and understand that they are weaker than us. Therefore, we have to we have to approach them in a different manner, right? The same thing, I'm gonna go somewhere else. The same thing it says in Ephesians, Salakia. The same, dang, the same thing it says in Ephesians chapter 5, because this is a staple too, right? Ephesians chapter 5, I'm gonna start at verse 22. Ephesians 5 and 22, right? Matter of fact, let me start at verse number 21. And it says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God, right? So we know that if you're in a relationship with somebody, first of all, we know that, hey, look, you got to prove a friend, right? And you cannot believe every spirit, but you got to try the spirits to see whether they're of the Lord. Now, remember, we read precepts about being cursed, being discontinued from our heritage, how we weren't taught the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Therefore, we have no understanding of what the fear of the Most High is. We have no understanding of how to truly love each other, right? We've been taught all this music about robbing and killing, but we haven't been taught this music about restoration and healing. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, a lot of things in our community is backwards. How we deal with relationships, how this interaction is going. This is not how it's supposed to be. But just speaking on their relationship in particular, it says you have to submit yourselves one to another in the fear of the Most High, right? And it says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord, right? And let me read verse 25. And it says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, right? And then he said, like here in verse 28, so ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church, right? So we know that men, we have to deal with our women according to knowledge, according to 1 Peter 3. The same thing in Ephesians 5. We have to love our wives as our own bodies. But as stated before, again, we have not been taught the right way to love. Like Keith Sweat says, and I reference this song a lot, there is a right and a wrong way to love somebody. And we have to start learning how to go about it the right way. That relationship right there is a prime example about the wrong way to love, anger and emotion, right? Let me pull up this precept. I'm gonna just type it in because, like I said, I wanna say it's in Ephesians 2, and I mean 2 as in TOO. Yeah, Ephesians 4 and 26. It says right here, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, right? So we know, hey, be ye angry and sin not, right? We know that we need to do better about how we handle our emotions one toward another, right? Let me go to the book of Romans real quick. Or is that First Corinthians? Let me go to Romans first. I think it's in Romans. It's either Romans or First Corinthians. Let me make sure. Romans chapter 12. Um, Let me see. Right. All right, Khan. This is the book of Romans chapter 12. And let me start at verse. Let me start at verse number let me start at verse number 9. It says, let love be without dissimulation, right? Let there be no fake love, right? Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Verse 10, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Now, Ephesians 4 and 26 and Romans chapter 12, verse 10 are going to come back into play throughout this video, right? I'm going to try to skim through it. I'm not going to try to play the full 13 minutes and break it down every 5 because I don't want to keep y'all on here all night. But we got to remember these scriptures when we're watching this video because this is important to understand about how to deal with certain situations, right? Let's keep going.
The finish. Somebody first to finish. Sean. Chill, you better stop. You better start something. Stop playing with me. Stop something. Stop playing with me. You let us know you ride with. Stop playing with me, Sean. How we playing?
I'm drunk. Hitting somebody's face.
All right, well, just chill. Just chill. Let them talk. You making it worse than what it is. You never had a woman before? Look, we trying to talk on your behalf. When do you know holes in me? I got holes in me. I got holes in me.
You ever hit a woman before?
You motherfucking right.
I'm talking about all
Because she ain't right. She disrespectful. That's why.
How you
Guess what? That's the difference.
Yeah, but she knows.
Because I'm her boss.
That's for sure.
I'm gonna step to her.
Come on, man. You ain't gotta do all that. You don't gotta do all that.
Now, pause. You see how already, like we said, already, man, the brother Blueface, he definitely didn't come with the spirit of trying to argue and prove that, hey, I'm him and try to, start a commotion. He definitely came with, even though we know for a fact that, what I'm saying, everything ain't peaches and cream, right? But at the same time, when you see something that somebody's trying to do, and yet you see the spirits that's working against that person, when you don't have the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord, when you don't have the fruits of the spirit, you don't even know what they are. It's going to be hard for you to stay in that spirit, right? We can see already the sister's family, Krishan Rock family, didn't come with the spirit of just trying to iron out the patches, right? They came with the spirit of saying, look, you put your hands on it again, we're going to have an issue. You know what I'm saying? And it was it confounded her father, because guess what? He said, hey, look, did you ever put your hands on a woman? He asked him the question a few times, and guess what? He was like, you dang right I did.
Hypocrite, man. If it would probably be in his best interest to go ahead and lie and say he never did.
Right.
But he just came up and said he did too. Everything that you saying right now goes out the window now.
Right. Hey, look, the reason that he said that it's the difference is because he said Krishan Rock is my daughter, and I'm a step to him. And you see how he got in the brother's face. Now, this is, like I say, pay close attention to everything that's going on, because as we go throughout the video, you're going to see exactly why this whole situation, first of all, was out of order. It was out of order from the beginning, right? But especially by Krishan Rock's family. They were out of order. The sisters out of order for checking the brother like they did when he was trying to be peaceable and trying to greet. He wasn't showing fake love, but he was trying to be respectful, right? He was trying to understand. He wasn't acting like everything was gravy, but yet he was trying to be respectful. And they came to him with disrespect. The father is getting all in his face. You got her sisters yelling at this man. Everybody's attacking him. The one thing I like throughout this part, though, is that Krishan Rock is defending this man. Even though, yeah, she's the one who's been going through the hurt and pain, right? Same thing with Blueface. But she's been the one that was getting hit on, just like she was hitting him. It was going back and forth, right? But she's owning up for what she did, and this is why she's defending him, because she may really love him, right?
The crazy part is, man, you could tell this is all for the camera, because if y'all really felt some type of way about what happened, y'all would have pulled up on him as soon as it happened. You know what I'm saying? You wait for the cameras to pull up and the meetup to happen for you to try to say all this, get all this stuff off your chest, when you could have been did that, man. If you really cared about your daughter like that, I know plenty of people that would take that flight the next day, drive down the same night, right? For y'all to wait all this time, man, for this confrontation, man, just tells me y'all just doing this for vanity at this point.
Right. They're doing this to prove that, hey, look, this is our sister, this is our daughter, we love her, and you can't do this, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, as throughout this video, y'all gonna see. So I'm just trying to stop to show y'all little moments where y'all should pay attention to. But let's keep going.
Come on, bro. You about to
Chill out.
don't beat your chest. Come on, man.
What's about you?
What's happening?
Chill out. You have to tell me.
You had to beat some time. You grab some.
I'm saying chill out. Calm down. Look at me.
Yeah, y'all making this shit right.
Sean, we making this shit right.
Stop, y'all. It's about you. You hurt. Hey, what's up with you? Hey, what's
That's you. You the one beating your chest, bro. Because I'm gotta do all that. As a man, you gotta. I'm a man too. Come right here. Fuck all that. Come right here.
With them? No, all right. Let's talk about all that. Trying to talk to them.
I'm saying,
Listen, stop touching me, bro. Stop touching me. Don't touch me,
bro. I don't know.
All right, you don't gotta know me. Don't touch me.
Now you see how quick he was all in Blueface face talking about I'm her father and I'm a step to him, right? Blueface tapped him a few times. Now he said, don't touch me. Don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? And watch what he continues to say.
Don't touch me. Am I touching you?
Yes.
How?
You just squat my hand.
Because you touching me. Don't put your
You
hand.
in front of your chest.
Yo,
In front of
don't,
me.
don't,
Beat
touch,
on your
don't
chest,
touch
bro.
me again. I'm telling you now. Don't touch me again, all right?
They let him talk, Rashawn.
He said, look, don't touch me again. He's threatening the brother. He's provoking the brother unto anger, right? Hey, look, let me get a precept real quick. Um, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 37, and I want to go to verse 8. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 8. And it says, right? It says, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, right? So you got to cease from anger and you got to forsake wrath, man. When you get moments, that's why we go back to Ephesians 4 and 26. It says, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, right? But the part I want to emphasize is be ye angry and sin not. You got to cease from anger. You got to learn how to control yourself when you get upset, right? This is why it says that in Romans chapter Salakia, but in Romans chapter 12, in verse number 10, it says we should be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another, right? The same thing with, let me go to First Peter, right? First Peter 2 and 17, right? First Peter chapter 2 in verse number 17. It says right here, it says, honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king, right? Hey, love the brotherhood. We got to learn how to love one another again, right? Dang, brother, ahead of the game, but con. It says right here, Matthew 5 and 9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God, right? You got to learn how to, we got to learn how to be peacemakers in this thing, right? And this is important because we know that, again, there are situations where people, even inside of the truth, are dealing with these type of circumstances where your family might, your spouse's family might forsake you for maybe the lifestyle that y'all live. Your spouse's family might forsake you maybe for some of the things that they disagree with. It's a multitude of reasons why this type of situation can happen to anybody, whether you be in the truth or outside of the truth, right? But you got to learn how to be angry and sin not. Be kindly affectionate one to another. You got to go back to Psalms 37 and 8. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Because if you're able to do these things, hey, you'll be the children of God, right? You'll be called the children of God, right? But let's keep going. Let's go back to the video.
Blue, you got a daughter, man. You got a daughter. It ain't
No.
came yet. It ain't
I will never teach my daughter
Uh-huh.
that when she hits somebody first, it's self-defense.
Exactly.
It is. He's in front of me talking about
No,
she's defending herself.
you hitting her, she defending herself. If she hitting you, hold on. I've been through that, yo.
So how you don't understand?
Because I took it.
This man is really confounding this man right now. He's saying, look, I've been through that. He says, so how you don't understand then? Right? And like we said, first of all, we got to stop being the type of people to attack every little detail about somebody, right? We know for a fact that, these people aren't, well, I can't bear false witness. But from the naked eye, I don't think that these people are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? I don't know them on a personal level, so who knows, right? But based on the type of activity that's going on, I would probably doubt, right? But understand this, right? He's saying, how don't you understand? One thing the brother Blueface never did was he never said out his mouth that he was wrong. He never said out his mouth that he was right. He never said out his mouth that he was justified and that it was all on Krishan Rock for the situations that had been taking place, right? He never accused her. He never accused himself, right? What he did was say is that, do you teach your daughter to put your hands on men, right? What he did was say is that, you're telling me that even if she's in the wrong, she's still right. That doesn't make sense to me. And that is very true. Let's keep reading. Let's keep watching.
Went to the hospital and went to jail with the knife in me. What are you talking about? And I keep
And look, and her sister right here. This woman is the instigator of the whole situation. He said, and even if she did, It's Krishan. Don't put your hands on her. Like that's not how to deal justly with all men, right? That's not just behavior. If I was to put my hands on another brother and another brother returns the fist unto me, right? Should my family come now and come and accuse this man of being abusive? Should my family now threaten him and tell him to stop putting your hands on me because I was defending myself? No, it don't make sense. I shouldn't have been the one to swing, right? Regardless of what happens, right? Because, like you said, again, the brother Blueface never admitted to that he didn't do anything at all. He never said that he didn't have no part in the type of physical abusive relationship that they had, right? He never said he didn't have a part in it. All he was doing was defending himself because they were attacking him as if he was the only one in that relationship. And it takes two to tango, right?
Come on, yo, listen. Listen, it ain't never been a joke. Ain't no family. That's me. That's what I do. But she. Just say you gonna make it right. Say that. I already made it right. Say you gonna make it. It's already right. Say you gonna treat her how she deserves to be treated. Say that. Don't keep asking us fucking questions. Yo, that's fucked up. And it's a slap in the fucking face.
You see what I'm saying? Attitudes, right? Let me go back to First Peter, man. Let me go back to First Peter, right? Because we gotta know how to do better, right? We gotta know how to do better, and it's important that we learn this now, because if we don't, hey, we're gonna be in a tough situation, right? Let me go to let me go to maybe it's Second Peter, next chapter, next chapter. Yeah, I think it's Second Peter, right? Hold on, let me make sure. I think it's Second Peter 1. Second Peter 1. Let me start at 10. Um, am I mistaken? So like, yeah, I'm trying to find this precept, or is it Second Peter 2? Chapter 2. I know it ain't many chapters in him, in this book. So let me go back to First Peter. It's a precept that I got on my head. I know how to recite it, but for some reason I just can't find it. Seeing that which manner of spirits, disobedience. No. Which in times past were not a people, beseech your strength, have attained. Submit yourselves for the punishment, servants, thankworthy for what glory is it, who did sin, who shall bear himself. Here you go. Second Peter 3. I mean First Peter 3 and 10. I kept thinking it was First Peter 2 and 10, but First Peter 3 and 10, and it says, "For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips that they speak no guile." Right? Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. Right? So we got to learn how to refrain our lips from evil, man. We got to know how to have peaceable speech, right? Having our conversation honest amongst the Gentiles, like it goes back to saying First Peter chapter 2, right? Because hey, look, if we have integrity with our speech, if we have integrity with our emotions, people cannot accuse us of being wicked, and we will be counted with the children of God, as stated in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 9. But yet, if we do not have the strength to control our emotions, we'll be all over the place, right? Let's go to Galatians 5, right? Galatians 5 and 22. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 22. 5 and 22. And let's read. It says, "But the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law," right? So we have to start moving by the spirit, right? The fruits of the spirit. See, the brother Blueface showed a lot of long suffering with everything that was going on. And there's a lot of people who can honestly admit and say, man, I don't know if I would have had that type of discipline when you got everybody coming at you. The only person defending you is the person that everybody trying to get to turn against you. That was his girl, and that's why I said I respected that Krishan Rock was defending him, even though that was her blood family, right? That was her mother, her father, and her sisters, right? That was her family. They was going tooth and nail with Blueface about her, but she's like, y'all not gonna do this to him like this. And he was having great patience, learning how to control himself in the situation, right? Let me see. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, and verse number 1. This is Proverbs 15, and I'm gonna go to verse number 1. And it says, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words store up anger, right? All of these answers that the brother is giving are soft, right? And he's doing his best, but guess what? The answers that the sisters are giving are not soft, right? It says, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of the fools poureth out foolishness, or poureth out foolishness. And all you see from them is coming foolishness, right? This is why I said that, in the beginning, like when the Most High commanded us to teach our children the law, statutes, and commandments, we should have hearkened unto him to do so, right? Part of teaching our children the law is part of doing exactly what's written in the book of Titus, chapter 2, right? This is the book of Titus, chapter 2, and let me start at verse number 2. It says that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience, right? Let's start at verse number 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, right? You see that there's really only one aged woman out here, but at the same time, all of these women are not doing things that are becoming of holiness, right? And I'm not saying that brother Blueface is either, but what I'm saying is that there's situations like this that we can see where how everything is going off. Again, behavior as becometh of holiness. Nobody's out here acting set apart, right? And that's because we discontinue from my heritage. Let's read verse number 4. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed, right? So their mother who's out there with them, right? Because he hugged her. If y'all don't remember at the beginning of the video, he hugged her. Their mother is out there with them. If we would have taught our children the law, statutes, and commandments, right, we would understand that these things will be coming to pass that's being spoken about in Titus, right? But being that in the book of Titus, you see these things, and it goes all back to the law, where we should have taught our children to do these things according to what the Most High God said, and we didn't. Now you have what we call right here chaos, right? And utter madness. But let's continue.
Yeah, camera shit. Y'all doing all this holler. It's getting weird, bro. I don't know how y'all expect me to react. That's our baby sister, bro. So how you don't tell your baby sister? Bro, so she wrong. So you basically saying she wrong every single time? It don't matter, wrong or right. It's that's why I'm saying. Listen to yourself. She going against us.
Don't do it again.
Wrong or right?
Did it no more.
Wrong or right? She right? That's what y'all saying. No, I can't agree with that. Bitch, right or wrong? Then she should be right. That doesn't make sense.
And then she called her sister a B word. You know what I'm saying? And she said right or wrong, then she should be right if that's really your girl. That doesn't make sense, man. And this is exactly why I say that we are products of our environment, right? Because now you see in a situation where these people are confronted with situations that may be rooted in anger, or if they deal with sensitive subjects, we see how they're handling it, and it's not very well. It's a poor representation of how to handle situations where you're in an uncomfortable environment. Blueface has probably done this before. He's probably understood that he's trying to give respect to, the people who he came to speak with. Maybe that he knows they already felt some type of way, but at the same time, the reason that she might put her hands on him is because of what goes on inside the house when they were raised up together. She probably wasn't taught the correct way about how to treat a man, right? And that goes back to her father, right? Because a daughter is a man's possession. And I'm going to find that precept before we get off this live, right? We have to teach our children, right? The young women have to teach the young women, the aged women have to teach the young women how to be honorable, right? The same thing, the same thing with, you know what I'm saying, brother Blueface. He has to be taught how to deal with women according to knowledge too. Everybody has a role to play in this chaos. But at the same time, the reason it's so chaotic is because there's no order, there's no structure. That order and structure goes back to 1 Corinthians 11:3. I have you know that the head of every man is Christ. The head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God, right? There is no structure. We're a godless people because we went after idols. We've been stripped from our heritage. And now we've been like, you know what I'm saying? We've been going from mountain to hill. We forgot our resting place, right? Let's keep watching.
It did. What you mean? Wrong or right, she right. Wrong or right, she right. So you telling me you want to shut her down and put your hands on every fucking time?
And now she's being manipulating. She's manipulating this man into trying to say that he's going to hit her every single time that she's wrong. And that's not what he's saying at all. She has yet to acknowledge that Krishan Rock had a hand in their physical abusive relationship. This is the type of family members that you need to stay away from if you're trying to do better. And I'm not saying that she's wrong for wanting to have her sisters back, but it's a problem when you begin to separate from reality. The reality of the situation is that they're both wrong. But she's just putting all this blame on him. All of them are ganging up on one man. When it's two of them, it takes two to tango. If Blueface was hitting himself in the face in the bathroom mirror, right, punching himself in the stomach, knocking himself out, knocking his tooth out, and she didn't get a hand laid on her, they wouldn't be looking at her and yelling at him. But see, they're looking at her and yelling at him because he hit her. But at the same time, maybe she's the one who provoked it. And Blueface didn't even say she did that every time. All he did was say, look, if somebody hits me, I'm going to react. Because he wasn't raised, maybe he wasn't raised to deal with women according to knowledge, like First Peter 3:7 says. Maybe he wasn't raised like that. Maybe he was raised that if a woman is man enough to hit you, she man enough to get hit. My daddy told me the same thing. I always said I wouldn't hit a woman back, but my daddy said, if a girl is man enough to hit you, you better hit her back. I never did though. You know what I'm saying? But that's just crazy how you can see the manipulation coming from her family, right? This right here, the other sister, the brother who's acting so cowardly, man. This sister, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much wrong in this situation, and they're not addressing the true matter. They have to teach their sister, do not put your hands on a man unless you want to get hit back. But brother Blueface has to check himself and say, okay, I'm not going to hit you. Because right now he's the most level-headed one out of everybody, and he's the one that's being attacked the most.
Come, man.
Anytime somebody put their hands on
Go ahead. You got something to say?
No, I was just gonna say, man, there's two ways you can go about it, man. Just being practical and realistic about it. Um, One was, the older generation. They'll say, if they're giving their daughter away, they say, hey, man, if she ever pisses you off to the point where you want to hit her, just give her back to us before you hit her. You know what I'm saying? If it ever gets that deep, man, just go ahead and give her back to the father, man. Like you were saying, she belongs to the father. Just give her back to the father, man, if it gets to that point. But then there's also another universal law that says this, man. You're only going to be able to run so many stop signs, so many red lights before you get get totaled. You know what I'm saying? Before you get smashed up. There's only so many stop signs you can run, so many red lights you can run before you end up getting smashed, right? And so, and I'm just putting it out there. If you know, you know, you know what I'm saying. But hey, look, man, some people have them stop signs up. It's important to pay attention to it, man, because it's not Burger King. You're not living in a world where you can do whatever you want to do just because you're a woman, right? And sometimes people gotta learn the hard way.
Hey, sometimes people do got to learn the hard way, right? And that's why it's important that we went through these curses. It is necessary that we've been afflicted, that we might know to keep the commandments of the Lord, right? That Psalms 119 and 167 and 171. No, excuse me. Psalms 19, 167 and Salakia. Psalms 119, 67 and 71, right? Lord. But look, it's just so much going wrong with this whole scenario that you can honestly see how of a lost nation that we are, right? We can't even have a simple conversation about how to treat one another, right? Because they're in a relationship. They're not respecting that. They're acting like this man Blueface kidnapped this girl and is just beating the heck out of her every day of his life. When that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to manipulate Krishan Rock into feeling what they feel, but she doesn't feel like that because maybe she knows that he didn't do this on his own. I had a hand in this too, right? So we got to start considering how to deal with situation like this. If you're in a situation like this, remember the fruits of the spirit first and foremost.
Right.
Remember that a soft answer turneth away wrath. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just saying that's right. Fruits of the spirit all the way, man. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta understand how to possess your own vessel, man. Right?
Right. You cannot sit up here and allow things to get so chaotic like this because it's only hurting the necessary. The truth of the matter is they need to have a conversation about why they feel the way they feel, but it's not going to be like this. It can't be like this. If they want to get to through to him about how they truly feel, right? If they want to get through, if they want to get through to him about how they truly feel, it cannot be in this manner because he's not going to receive it like that because what they're doing is they're manipulating him into being the bully when it could be the other way around. You never know,
What they
right?
need to do is, if they're so passionate about it, they need to tell their daughter, their sister to leave them, but they
Right.
won't because they want that check.
Or maybe they did tell him to leave him, but she stayed. You know, maybe she, like I said, maybe she just loves the man, right? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't be the one. I can't be the one to make that call. But all I'm gonna say is that we don't know the situation. We're speaking on the outside. We're looking at it from the outside in, right? We're looking at it from the outside in. We're not looking at it from the inside out, right? Let me go to I want to go to Proverbs. I mean, excuse me, Salakia. No, Proverbs chapter 18 and verse number 21, right? Read a precept real quick before we continue this video. Proverbs 18 and 21. And it says, Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Right? So we got to learn how to choose life with our words. This is why it's important to have the fruit of the fruit, the fruits of the spirit. We got to learn how to choose life with the things that we say. We got to learn how to choose life in expressing how we feel. There is a right and a wrong way to do everything in life. And like the brother said last night, man, too much of something can be bad for you. But we got to learn how to express our concerns one to another, man. We got to learn how to come to another in a manner where we can have a conversation without all this chaos going on. Because now they have a child on the way. Now their family's going to be intertwined forever. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they get married. You never know. But at the same time, my heart's desire and prayer is that everybody repents, you know what I'm saying, and learns the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and learn how to deal with one another according to love and wisdom, because this is not wisdom, right? I want to get to the key point, so I'm gonna play the video.
I'm a react. Look. You can't control nobody's reaction. I'm telling you, I'm gonna react.
And I know I keep stopping it, but you see what I'm saying? She's basically trying to manipulate this man into saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep putting my hands on her," when that's not what he's saying. He said, why don't y'all teach her not to hit me? But they're not addressing that. They just want to say, so you're gonna keep putting your hands on her. And he basically like, look, if she hit me, I'm gonna react. Now, to the brother Blueface's demise, what you're gonna have to learn how to do is you're gonna have to learn how to not hit her. Because either way it goes, we know that we're gonna be judged by the things that we do, not what somebody else does. Just because so and so does this to me doesn't mean that I have to retaliate that, right? Hey, look, we got to do unto others as we want done to ourselves, right? I want to say that's Matthew. Let me go to that real quick. I want to say that's Matthew 12. I just heard the brother Aharon, Captain Aharon, bring that out uh for the daily scripture, right? Matthew 7 and 12, right? And it says, therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, For this is the law and the prophets, right? So everything you want done to you, do it to somebody else. Or everything you want somebody else to do to you, do unto them. It's the same way, right? Be kindly and affectionate one to another, right? Like it says in Romans 12 and 10. Because listen, we're going to be judged by the things that we do, not what somebody else does.
So what are you saying?
I'm telling you, anytime somebody touch me, I'm gonna react. That's all I can do. Right? What you gonna do, man? Why you acting like you not?
That's for sure. We talking about for sure. It don't fucking matter what we
Bro,
do. We talking
besides
about
all the female
right
shit.
or wrong, don't fucking touch
All right, now you on that.
Right or wrong, don't touch it.
So,
Yo, you need her. All that shit in the fucking corner.
Why you keep standing in front of me?
Because I want to. Because she's protecting me. Go ahead and try to.
She's not protecting you. She's not protecting you.
Her love is protecting you. Even she standing in front, she'll tell you this. Her love is protecting you. Even if she not fucking, if you don't want to try to consider that, you know what's fucking lucky you in our city, and you know it's because of her or the strength of her that you can't stand on what you see.
I came up because of her. Back up? What do you mean back up? I brought you.
Baby. Oh, yo, you didn't bring my mother. We flew our mother back, bro.
To her first video? To her first video? She got to see her child doing better. Y'all making this shit left. Y'all making this shit weird. I'm not gonna argue with no female. I don't argue with females.
Yeah, stop putting your hand on one. Don't
argue with females.
Don't touch her.
I don't argue with females. Hey, you know when somebody with sense want to talk all this. Hey, hold on, guys. Yeah, it's right or wrong. I'm talking about right or wrong. She right. Pause. Hey, hold on, just real quick. We got.
Hey, Bones, I ain't no recording shit.
You not doing that.
Don't record the phone, though.
Yeah, all that.
I don't care.
Bro, you didn't already switch. I don't even know you. You was way different. I don't even know you right now.
Okay, let me talk. If you take her away,
swing on, don't record.
One of y'all swing on me, it's going up.
I got you. We already know the police coming, nigga.
So what's the point of all of this? What's the point of all of this?
They said the police is coming, and he's like, man, so what's the point of doing all this then? If the police is coming, like, why don't y'all just take a chill pill? 'Cause like we saying, man, he's trying to take the approach of, listen, we ain't gotta fake it like we all buddy, but I'm gonna give you respect, and that's how the brother Blueface came, in my humble opinion. But these brothers and sisters came with a wicked way of approaching it. You know what I'm saying? There's wickedness involved all in the situation in its own right. But Blueface handled this like a man should handle it. He wasn't getting angry. He wasn't returning railing for railing. He wasn't sitting up here cussing them out the same way they was cussing him out. He wasn't being manipulative with his words the same way her sisters, Krishan Rock's sisters, was trying to manipulate Blueface into saying that he's going to continue to beat her. Like, that's just, if you got family members like that in situations where it's sensitive, stay away from them, because they're educating you to do the wrong thing. This is not how you handle it. And this is why, again, the title of this lesson is We Are in Products of Our Environment. Because the same emotional trauma that they're experiencing is the same thing that maybe Krishan Rock grew up with. And this is why she's in the situation she's in with him. And maybe he wasn't educated on how to deal with it from a woman. And so that's why they're in the relationship that they're in. But it seems like they need to be taught about how to deal with emotion, right? Again, fruits of the spirit is the biggest thing in this situation.
I'm here for her.
So we can holler at you, really give you the benefit of the doubt. But you keep trying to act weird.
How you giving me the benefit of the doubt when I say hello? My name is So how's that the benefit of the doubt?
The conversation before the fucking cameras came out.
You asked me?
They want to give us that.
Did you ask me?
You know, you just, nigga, it's FaceTime and speakerphone. You right there, you fucking heard us. Don't act dumb.
Why don't you say what?
You heard that.
You coming with all this all this extra energy.
Yes, extra energy, nigga. You like you ain't getting energy.
And you see exactly right there. This is why, man, it's important to understand that, hey, look, just because you old don't mean that you wise, right? That was an unwise thing, right? I want to go read a precept, right? This the book of Hebrews, chapter 5, and I'm gonna read verse number 12, right? And it says, "For when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat." Right? Hey, in this same situation, they're trying to teach this man what and what not to do, and it looks like they're the ones who need to be taught. And in so much that the brother didn't lift a finger to him when he asked them. They both, her brother, Krishan Rock's brother and father, asked this man Blueface not to touch them. You know what I'm saying? Which is cowardly in my opinion, because I mean it's like the brother went out there trying to fight. Y'all just looking for a reason. He wasn't out there looking for a fight. He was out there looking to have a conversation. Y'all picked a fight, and then eventually her dad, when he's not even in the middle of the conversation, comes out of nowhere and hits this man. Like that's wicked. You know what I'm
Was it the
saying?
dad or was it the brother?
It was the dad. It was the dad that swung on him,
I
right?
thought it was a dude in the green.
Nah, it was the dad. The dude in the green came to handle him. Came to back him up. Watch.
All this extra energy.
See?
Well, I see.
You know, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you have an old man like this. Maybe if you would have did a better job in teaching your daughter how to treat a man, or teaching your daughter what not to do in certain situations when you're dealing with a man. Maybe if you had a mother that learned how to teach you how to be a woman who loves her man, a woman who knows how to respect her man, you know what I'm saying? Maybe this situation wouldn't be happening. But her dad is such a coward. It makes no sense that it makes no sense that this is happening, right? And that's my opinion. Her dad is a coward, her brother is a coward, and her sisters, they need counsel on how to handle certain situations, because I have big sisters too. You know what I'm saying? And I have a sister who's a year older than me exactly to the day, right? We have the same date of birth, but she's just born in 1997. I was born in 1998, right? I have no doubt in my mind that if all of my older sisters, whether it be Mimi, Etinet, Manisha, right? Shayla's older sister too, but if it be Mimi, Etinet, and Manisha, I know that they will go 10 toes down for my sister Shayla. If Shayla was in a relationship where she's getting abused on, the same as me. If my sister was in an abusive relationship and I seen the stuff and I heard the stuff, I would probably be the same way. But I'm not going to say I would be the same way in manner of wickedness like they're doing. I would be the same as in I'm going to try to have a conversation with the brother, talk to my sister and tell my sister, hey, look, don't put your hands on no man, because you're going to meet your match probably. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what could be going on, right? But this is why I say everybody here needs to hold themselves accountable, and everybody has to learn how to do a better job of expressing emotion, because this ain't the way to do it. Your daddy just sucker punched your boyfriend, and like your boyfriend did the best job of remaining cool out of everybody. This goes to show who is the real problem. Women lack accountability. Emphasis on Blueface's, I mean, Krishan Rock's sisters. They lack accountability. And men, let me go to the Bible. Let me just go to the Bible. I'm not even going speak all my own words. Let me just go to the Bible, right? I'm gonna go to the book of First Esdras. Let me go to chapter 4, and let me run to verse number 24. Right? Matter of fact, let me start at verse 20. Let me start at verse 26. And it say, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Remember at the beginning of the video, we read a precept, Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. And it says, as for my people, women are their oppressors and children rule over them. Right? We have to understand that, hey, many men have run out of their wits for women. Of course it's going to be for your wife and your girlfriend, but it's the same thing. Look, the man is trying to defend his daughters, and he hits a man for no reason. It was no reason to hit that brother. That brother didn't curse you. He didn't disrespect you. Only thing he did that you didn't like was mishandle your property. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, hey, your property wasn't given such a great return on investment without the the violence that was bestowed upon her. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we have to learn as a people how to handle situations better. But like I said, the brother Blueface handled this a lot like a lot of men should. He didn't return evil for evil. He tried his best not to, all the way up until this moment.
That's why I told mom, man.
You don't got nothing. You don't got nothing. Bro, what's happening? What's happening? Oh. All right, so let me go.
And her sisters are sitting up here looking for a fight. Like, what is the point of telling your sister who you're trying to defend that I will beat the S word out of you? Like, this goes to show that her family was not looking for a peaceful discourse. They were looking for a problem. They were looking for a reason to take the anger that they felt from the situation that happened inside of their relationship and put it on him, right? Now we know a man is the leader, right? Let me go back to the Bible. Right? Let me go back to the Bible. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5. And let me start at verse number 23, right? Ephesians 5 and 23. And it says, "For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body," right? Let's go back to First Peter chapter 3, right? This is First Ezra chapter. I think this is First Ezra, right? Yeah. Let me go back to First Peter. First Peter chapter 3, right? Let's read this. First Peter 3. And let me start at verse number 7. Again, it says, "Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge." Being that we're the head, we have to dwell with our women according to knowledge, right? Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered, right? But if you read verse 6, this is how to understand, right? Verse 6 is big because it says, "Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement," right? Sarah reverenced Abraham as Lord. And I bet you $1,000,000, right, that there's women out here today that would rather die than call the man that they're married to, or the man who, or any man, Lord, who they're subject under. But every woman wants a man who lives biblically, right? But every woman doesn't want to live a biblical life like a woman should according to the Bible. The man is the leader, right? And I understand why it would be all on Brother Blueface, because he is the leader. As he goes, she will go. But at the same time, we are products of our environment, because throughout this whole video, you can clearly see her family is a family that does not know how to deal with emotion. They're a family that probably fought each other all the time, yelled and cursed each other out. It's women. The man that the leader of Krishan Rock's family is a weak man. The same thing. That's why her brother is a weak man. Cowards. You can't be cowards in the spirit of the Lord, man. You can't be cowards dealing with certain situations. And it's no way. Now, I'm not going to say I would hit the brother right here if I was his son, if I was a brother's son, because if you wrong, you wrong. But at the same time, like, come on now, if you're going to be sitting up here acting the way you acting, you got to have your daddy back in some sort. And the brother did not want any smoke with this man, right? He was just there trying to do his best to support his family. But it's a bunch of cowardliness going on with this woman's family, and that's why we're products of our environment, because she is sitting up here acting the same way they act. They didn't know how to talk with things out. They didn't know how to reason, and that's exactly why they're in the predicament that they're in, because they're not teaching her right. And what they're teaching her right now is it's okay if you do something wrong. The man should always make sure that you're right, and that is that's unjust.
What you hoping for? You old ass man. Why you holding me? I know. There we go right there. Fuck out of here, nigga. Oh yeah. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. He don't like that, huh? He don't like that. He came at me.
And you see exactly everything that's going on is happening for a reason. When you don't know how to cease from anger, right? Let me go back to Psalms 37, right? When you don't know how to cease from anger, let me go back to Ephesians 4:26, right? When you don't know how to cease from anger, like this is Psalms 37:8, says, cease from anger and forsake wrath, right? Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. When you don't have the fruit of the spirit, you do stupid stuff and it causes you to do evil things, which can ultimately hurt you. You know what I'm saying? It'd have been funny if Blueface would have came and hit this man and he would have died hitting his head on the concrete. But he couldn't blame nobody but himself because the brother, like I said, again, I'm not sitting up here giving the brother Blueface flowers for being a righteous man in this situation. We know that he's done wrong in this situation too. But the thing that I say is if you're going to address something, if you're going to address people who may not agree with you, that's the way you should handle it. Even when you're in the truth. Like you said, the brother Blueface tried to show respect. We know that there's a lot of things that could be done better on both sides, but this whole situation was caused by this woman. It was caused by her sisters. You know what I'm saying? And it was caused by him. He getting up all off the ground. It was caused by her. It was caused by him. Look at his face. Because he couldn't control his emotions. You see that? And this man ain't trying to do nothing. He's not trying to defend his father. He's not trying to defend nobody.
What's happening? Bro, what's happening? Can you help me talk with that? You can't go in there. You better turn your back around. Bro, you need to face that way. Why are you facing me?
And then she's losing her mind.
What's happening? It's over. You a fuck? It's over. Man, I'll hit you in the right from right here. Dead homie. Hey, grab him, Chris. Who would have squabbled up, though? Who would have squabbled up, though? Who would have squabbled up, though? Why y'all not securing hers? Man, shit.
We're here for you. If you was really here for her sister, you wouldn't have handled this situation like this. You know what I'm saying? If y'all was really her sisters, y'all wouldn't have handled this whole situation like this. Y'all wouldn't have let y'all daddy get up all in this man's face. She shouldn't have been the spokesperson for the family. If anything, she would have been a better spokesperson for Krishan than her. Krishan can speak for herself, but if they want to come and play, you hit my sister, you're wrong, then she should have been the one who stepped up because at least she shook the man's hand at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But people like this, even this whole situation is wicked, right? And it's all because we discontinue from our heritage, all because we didn't teach our children the law, statutes, and commandments like we should have, right? We got to learn how to do these. We got to learn how to do things decently and in order, right? And part of that reason is, hey, we didn't teach our children the commandments. And that's why I wanted to go and show that we're products of our environment. When we're not raising our children right, when we're not doing things according to how the Most High God said do them, this is the things that happen, right? This is exactly what happened. Let me go to 1 Samuel 25 real quick. This is 1 Samuel chapter 25. And let me go to start at verse number 5. So let me start at verse number 5, right? Matter of fact, let me start at verse number 1, right? Now the name of let me start at verse number 3, right? And it says, now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David sent out 10 young men, and David said unto the young men, get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal and greet him in my name. So David is the king at this time, right? And he's going to greet Nabal. He's sending men to go greet Nabal. And thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity, peace be both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace be unto all that thou hast. So David is meeting this man, and he's telling these people to go wish him peace, right? He sent out the 10 young men to go wish Nabal peace, right? And then it says right here, and Nabal answered, let me jump down to verse 10. When they went to Nabal, and Nabal answered David's servants and said, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shears and give it unto men whom I not know whence they be? Right? So he greeted David greeted Nabal with peace, and Nabal greeted him with railings, churlishness, man. And this is disrespectful, right? But I'm not gonna spend all day going over about how to do better. There are scriptures, everything written aforetime is written for our learning, right? So we got to learn how to deal with our people a lot better. We got to learn how to go read Romans chapter 12. Go read First Peter chapter 3. Go read First Peter chapter 2. Go read Ephesians chapter 5. Go read Psalms chapter 37. Go read Proverbs chapter 15. We got to understand why these things are written so that way we can understand how to deal with situations like this, right? We got to think about the things that we do. Galatians chapter 5, the fruits of the spirit. If we read the fruits of the spirit, we would understand how we need to apply these in those type of situations, right? But at the end of the day, we're a product of our environment. And the only way, I'm going to read this a third time. The only way we're going to get out of this particular situation, right? And I'm going to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse number 19. And it says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Now, what is that life? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 19 and verse number 19, right? And it says, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality, right? The doctrine of life is these laws, statutes, and commandments. The same way that says in Baruch chapter 4 and verse number 1. It says, this is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. It also says the same thing in Proverbs chapter 7 and verse number 2, right? It says right here, keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye, right? So we got to do a better job of handling all these situations when they come about, man, whether it be family, friend, or foe. We got to apply the fruits of the spirit in every situation. And that's a good example to show where to apply the fruits of the spirit, what and what not to do in situations where you're faced with family who may feel the same way as Krishan Rock's family. But I'll yield, brother. Do you have anything else to add, brother Nanal?
Man, that was a entertaining video though, right? That's my first time seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of madness, man. Uh, it's my second time seeing the video, maybe my third, but like I said, it happened last year. It's an old video. Just now wanted to talk about it. But Khan, man, I know we've been on here for an hour and some change. Most High willing, y'all were edified. I know some people may not watch the full hour, but it's cool. For those who tune in, Thawada, for those who will watch it later, man, all praise to the Most High. We give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God by way of his only begotten Son. We'll be back on here another day, but for now, we say Shalom.